Hello, I'm Gabriel. I was the leader of our group tree. Um, we were responsible for extending upon assignment one by adding server-side validation and a manage page. Um, as the leader, I delegated the tasks, and me and Inesh were in charge of making the including page where you would put code and include it in the page itself to recycle similar code. This was done for footer, head, and menu. Finally, what took most of our time was the validation, where we had to think of creative ways of solving similar issues. Um, Most of the validation was done using a pragmatch search using the regular expressions, but some involved further expansion upon this. Such examples include where we have to find the state and match it to the postcode to make sure it's within an acceptable range. Um, Other issues we came along with skills where we determined that using an individual skill for each of the skills selected was the best approach, and then we will read if the skill was selected before finally returning it at the end of the function in the individual sections named appropriately what the section is called. We were also required to make a table for the database. If the table was not found when you originally ran the code, it will create it for you, and it'll put all the information in. For example, the primary key is the EOI number. We also have an auto increment function, which allowed the EOI number to increase, and we got all the relevant fields, which were created and the types were declared.
Hey, this is Sanju. So in this piece of PHP code, I have created a file called settings.php to manage the configuration settings for connecting to a database. So let's go through each part. First, we have the host variable, which holds the host name, or if you can say the IP address, or like this. That is phoenix.marriottvswin.edu.au. Right, then next we have the user variable in which we have put the username as the student ID and pwd is for the password. And lastly we have the SQL database variable, so it stores the name of the specific database which we want to connect to. So the next one is upload.php. So the purpose of this code is to handle file uploads when a form is submitted. So when the submit button is clicked, the code retrieves the upload file information. So it checks if the file extension is dot uh, jpg dot jpeg png or like pdf, which is like the type of that. So if the file passes the extension check, then the code verifies if any error occurs during the upload. So if all the check passes, the code generates a unique file name and moves the file from its temporary location to a destined folder, and redirects the user to a success page. So however, if the file is too large, an error message starts: your file is too big. Like this, your file is too big, an error message will start. Similarly, if the file type is not supported, the code shows you can't upload file of this type.
Hey, my name's Marlon, and I did the enhancements for part 2 of our group assignment. So here you can see the two enhancements that I added: an upload files, which is just more for resumes, and a login page, which is for staff. So I'll start with the login page. As you can see, it's just a simple login page where each member would have a login. So here's my name, type a password, and it logs us in. Very simple. So once I log out, if I wanted to submit a resume, I go choose file, and just usually it would be a PDF, as stated here, but I do have it on for other files as well, just for this example. Once uploaded, we'll just go to the file destination, and as you can see, it has been included into here.
The PHP code is a web application for managing records of expression of interest for job application. The code establishes a connection to a database using the settings defined in a separate file. It handles various actions based on form submissions, including updating the status of an EOI record, deleting a record, and performing a search. The main content is displayed in a Manage EOI record section, which includes a search form and a table showing EOI records fetched from the database. The table rows are generated dynamically using a while loop and the MySQL fetch array function. The code includes CSS styles for formatting the page elements, including tables, buttons, forms, and modal dialogues. There are two modal dialogues defined for confirming record deletion and status changes. The code includes header and menu sections as well as a footer section, which are included from separate files. The code closes the database and connection and ends with a closing HTML tag.
Hello everyone, my name is Anish, and I will be giving you a quick tour on the apply form. So I have already put some details here, and once we press the submit button, our PHP script will run and validate the data. And if there are no errors, it will write it into the database and will give you a confirmation message saying successful entry. Now, for example, if we don't give data that is required, then we will get a suitable error message. Another thing we did was we checked the postcode and the state and whether they matched, which can be illustrated by this example. As you can see, since the postcode did not match the state, it produces error. And successful entries will actually be written into the database, and by using the manage.php page, we can view them over here.